Hi class, this is the second PowerPoint audio presentation for LP1. Again, sorry they're late. It's taken me a while to get the kinks worked out in the software that I've been using, but I think I've got it. This chapter is, there are two chapters covered in this particular video are business models and concepts. Some of it is a little bit of review from what we talked, but that's how you learn through repetition. Again, e-commerce is sales over the net, while e-business is a broader context that really addresses hardware and infrastructure that businesses use in their day-to-day operations. That doesn't necessarily involve commerce per se. In that context, e-commerce is nested in e-business because you can't do e-commerce without the ability to do e-business. One of the most important things, concepts is, as an MBA student, is this concept of a business model, how a business makes its money, and businesses are constantly looking for additional revenue streams. In the old school, it was normally through new product line extensions or category extensions, but the internet is far more flexible in terms of how it can help companies save money through different efficiencies, as well as open up whole new target markets and business opportunities. It's a wonderful disruptive technology in as much as it has redefined how business is done, not only between firms but through entire industries. And part of this has been digital disruption, the ability to, for example, digitize certain products like print, text, music, and provide them in different forms and actually deliver them over the internet as an entirely new distribution channel. One of them challenges for a company is sustaining its technological advances, obviously, because technologies change so quickly. I think 5 years from now, it'll be really interesting to take a look at Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook and see, one, how they are competing with one another, how they've morphed it, if at all, or gone out of business entirely, and what are new players, if any, in that space, as these spaces change quickly, just like search engines have. A really neat aspect of the internet is these 8 key elements that are noted here. The value proposition, and my definition of a value proposition is old school from the 80s when I was in the MBA program. It still remains my favorite, and it goes something like this: that which distinguishes a product or service in the mind's eye of the customer relative to the competition. I'll say it again real quickly: that which distinguishes a product or service in the mind's eye of the customer relative to the competition. A more current definition by, say, Kotler and Armstrong in their text is a set of benefits or values that a company promises its customers. But either way, you could say it's that which distinguishes companies from one another. It's first cousins with how they differentiate themselves. Again, as I just noted, the internet is capable of defining and creating whole new revenue streams, and that come from various market opportunities. Think about how Uber is disrupting that industry and the opportunities it creates. Peripheral industries that are automotive related, or revenue streams. I'm giving you hints on 1.4. The revenue streams that are generated from automobiles. There's myriad revenue streams and industry dependencies related to the automobile that will be compromised by Uber. The competitive environment has been changed considerably. You think of the printing industry, the travel industry, stock market industry, all of which have been changed competitively because of the introduction of the internet. Competitive advantages have been built, competitive advantages have been completely disassembled. One has to have a market strategy if they're going to have an internet presence. That is how they're going to promote their business. And you have to understand the organizational changes that will occur if you have an internet presence, how they will morph, and how that's been the case in myriad of other industries and firms in the marketplace. There didn't used to be a CIO. Now they're integral. People with technical expertise really was about keeping your computers up and running. It's far more than that as far as software, data analysis, and that sort of thing. So small businesses especially often miscalculate. That was a UPS truck just went by. He'll be out of business soon enough. Just kidding. Anyway, most small businesses underestimate the change in expertise and personnel needs that are affected as a consequence of having an internet commerce dimension. When I first started teaching this course in the mid-90s and later 90s and wrote articles around it, there were 4 available strategies that were defined that are still relevant in my opinion. The first was using the web as a more effective distribution and transaction channel. Those are 2 different channels. One is to sell things, one is to distribute things. There's lots of businesses that use it as a transaction channel that cannot actually deliver it over the web. Example, you can sell a TV online, but you can't deliver it online. You have to deliver through the FedEx that just went by. On the other hand, if you sell software, music, or books, you can sell them online and you can deliver them online. This is probably the most common element or strategy. It's a more effective communication channel, either through providing information about your company, about your products, whether you're selling or not, advertising, providing catalogs in depth, that richness and depth of information, interacting with your customers directly through email, surveys, etc. It's a very, very effective tool. Information management, gathering, and sharing. As soon as they knew that people were running around, somebody started inventing ways to watch them. Lots of people feel that, even now, I think younger people, that their use of the web is reasonably anonymous, and you feel that way when you're in a room like I'm in right now, and the doors are closed, but the window's open, so there's people driving by, but they don't know what I'm doing. But it's not anonymous. There's all kinds of entities that are watching you all the time, trying to gather information about you on numerous dimensions. And then finally, it's a great way to increase efficiencies and reduce costs, either through the use of e-business and or the use of e-commerce as a buyer, not necessarily as a seller. And then from a marketing standpoint, and these fall out of those strategies, it's from a promotional context, it's a great use as a billboard communication, a transaction vehicle, buyers selling, and in some cases distributing your product. Those relate to the 4Ps. One of the things that we are concerned about, particularly for small businesses, is the actual cost of an internet presence, and it can be affordable in the several $1,000s range, or for big businesses when you get into lots of servers and lots of new people needed just to run that aspect of the company, it can get extremely expensive in the neighborhood of hundreds of millions of dollars. When I first started out, you could get websites built fairly cheaply, but not as cheap as they're advertised by, say, GoDaddy or some service like that. And even those, I think one has to be careful. They can get your web up cheaply if it's just a billboard, but when you start adding depth to it, like the ability to do sales online, maintenance costs to keep it fresh, and perform various functions, it can get pricey.